I'm sorry if this video looks like a little sideways. My tripod broke. I'm gonna start with like a little lighthearted one because I'm already pissed off. So let's like bring the mood to like a happier mood. So yesterday I was at work and apparently this little kid, I'm gonna call Michael. That's not his real name. I'm not gonna give away his real name. He looks about like 11-ish years old, I think. Could be wrong on that one because kids, like, they'll look like 8 years old. In reality, they'll be 13. Michael comes into my work yesterday and he's talking to my manager like he's like super close with her, like he's known her for a long time. And I just assume like, oh, that's like her nephew or something like that, or like her son. It seemed like a family thing. So apparently this kid would like go around and like mess with people in the store. Like while I was cashing somebody out, he had like this toy phone that he was like handing out to people, and I thought it was like my manager's nephew, so obviously I was being super nice to the kid, and I would have been nice to the kid either way. It's a little kid. Like, he comes up to me while I'm cashing these people out, and he hands me this like toy phone and it's ringing. He's like, oh, answer it, and I pick it up and I'm like, oh, they hang up, or I just say something dumb along the lines of that, just like going along with the whole like prank he was trying to do. I don't know. So I give him back the phone. He goes over to my other coworker. He does the same thing to her. We're looking at each other like, oh my god. But apparently after that, this was like a common thing for him to come in and do. Apparently he would walk around and like switch the signs in the store or take the hands off of mannequins, and like the whole time everyone's just like, where are his parents? Because like have these little radio things at work that we all like talk on. I think that's like an everywhere thing. Everyone was talking on the radio like, who is this kid? Where are his parents? I thought he was related to our manager, which he's not actually. Like he was walking up to her, he was asking, oh, what's your favorite candy? My favorite candy is blah blah blah. Like they were just talking about random stuff, so I just assumed, and she was being so sweet to him, so I just assumed that it was like a relative, but it wasn't a relative. It was like this kid who nobody knows who his parents are, and he just comes in and messes with the store. And also like someone said something about him like messing with the sliding door on the way out, and he broke it but like was fine 2 seconds later, so like I guess he just like jammed it or something.
The kid's a little shit, but he's adorable.
And then they also said that we can't have him in the store anymore. So yeah, that's just like a mini story. That one obviously can't be a video on its own. I just thought that would be like a cuter, lighthearted story before we get into the bullshit that I deal with on a daily basis. I'll just talk about the rude lady I had yesterday first. I'm cashing people out, right? This lady comes up and she has like 4 things. She has like these 2 bath mats, and then she has like 2 packs of like Hanes underwear. And she hands me the underwear first and she said, oh, by the way, those were marked down to $19.99. So can you make sure those are $19.99 for me? So I'm like, oh, sure, because I always have people asking me to like do price checks for them. So I did the price check, but I looked on the thing. It wasn't $19.99. It was actually buy one, get one. So I told her, I was like, actually they're buy one, get one half off. It's not $19.99. But basically I just tell her that the sign was wrong, and I didn't even know we had a sign over there, but like it's always been that those were like buy one get one and not $19.99 as far as I've cashed them out. Like apparently last week there was a sale where they were $19.99 that stopped like the day that she came in. So she tells me that they are $19.99, and then she starts giving me like a little bit of an attitude. You know when people like get defensive and think that like you're calling them a liar? She tells me that they actually are $19.99 and that she saw the sign that was still up, and she told me like, first of all, you basically gave yourself away, but she told me that like the sign said $19.99 and she was like, oh, well, it said ended yesterday, but like since your sign's still up, you need to give it to me for $19.99. And I was like, I just like called on my little radio. I was like, Hanes underwear $19.99, and then they were like, no, they're buy one get one. And then I was like, okay, thank you, that's what I thought. And then I tell her that they're actually buy one get one, and she's like, no, they're $19.99. I'm just like, actually, ma'am, they're buy one get one, but you still are getting a deal on them. And then she was like, no, your sign says $19.99, then you need to take down your sign. You need to take down your sign. I was like, ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm not the one that puts up the signs. The store I work at, it's a clothing store, right? So we have all these random deals all the time. So I obviously don't know all of them. Like I know some of them. I wouldn't even say that I know most of them. I know some of them. Like I'm also not the person that like puts up the signs and like knows the discounts. I'm the person that is like cashing people out. So she's over here telling me that I need to take down the signs. She's like, oh, you need to take down the signs then. You need to take down the signs then. I was like, ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm not the person that works in that department. I will let them know for you that you really want them to take down the signs. And then she's just ranting and raving. She's like, actually, no, call your manager. They are $19.99. And I was like, okay, ma'am, I will call my manager. So I get on my little radio and I say, can I get a manager to my register, please? And then my managers must have all been busy during this time because no one was answering the call. Like I had to call 3 times before someone like finally answered. But the thing is, they were all working on like a project or something. I'm pretty sure, like I saw all of them. They were all like in the back office like sorting something out. So I would assume that they were like working on a project or something. They were like busy. They don't intentionally ignore us. Like they always come and help us when we need help. But like the thing is, of course it's with the one lady that asked to speak to my manager that they're all busy. That's just my luck. So I call my manager. No response. This lady's giving me dirty looks and like looks like she wants to strangle me over Hanes underwear. Like I called my manager and around the second time she was like, okay, fine. I won't take the underwear. I won't take the underwear. I don't need them. I was like, okay. And then she was like, okay, you can ring out the bath mats now. Like you can ring these up and then I'll pay for those. I was like, okay, are you sure? And she was like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, you don't need to give me a attitude because I'm not the one that put the sign there. Just because I'm working at the store doesn't mean I do everything at the store. Why the f is that so hard for some people to understand? I'm a 16-year-old girl. I come here like thrice a week. You really think I do everything in the store?
That's not how it works.
So she starts telling me to ring up the bath mats, so I do. Like, just take them off, and then I get the call from my manager that she's coming up, and I'm like, oh, well, I called a million times. I don't want to seem like a bitch and be like, never mind, actually, I don't need it, as she's like halfway up, you know? So I'm like, actually, my manager's like on her way up now if you wanted to still talk to her. I'm being like super polite and super kind this whole time, because I always am, except for in some situations. We'll get into that later. But my manager comes up and she was like, the underwear is supposed to be $19.99 and your sign says that. And then my manager was like, okay, I'll go check. So my manager goes and checks. The lady follows her. So I'm just like standing there awkwardly while there's this line of people. It looks like I'm not doing my job almost because there's like no one at my register, but like,
you know, I just looked stupid.
they go check and then they both come back and my manager's like, they're not $19.99 actually, which I know. Like we did not need all of this to happen. We know that they're not $19.99. And the lady's like, your manager was taking down the sign in front of me. So they were $19.99. Don't lie to me. They were. And I'm just like, I'm sorry about that. You said the sale ended today anyway, so thank you for bringing that to her attention. Why are you whining about a sale that you know damn well ended yesterday? So she's throwing herself around like a toddler. She's like, actually, you know what? I don't even need any of it. And I was like, are you sure you don't want to just buy the bath mats? And she's like, actually, I'll buy the bath mats. Then she starts like taking her card out and she's like, actually, I don't need any of it. You could just void the whole order. And I was like, are you sure, ma'am? And then she was like, yeah, I don't need this. And then she storms out of the store and I have her bag sitting here. So I just start taking everything out of the bag. I void the order and I'm like, thank you for giving me a massive headache. For nothing! What is wrong with people? I kid you not, she was at my register for like 15 minutes. It's really uncommon to have someone at your register for that long if they're only buying 4 things. Unless they're being a massive pain in your ass, which this lady was. So yeah, she just stormed out, didn't buy anything, and they weren't $19.99. So yeah, that's the first story. I'm gonna tell 2 more, and this next story incredibly enrages me. Okay, like this was bad. I didn't realize how bad it was until after I sat down and I was like, people shouldn't talk to each other like that. I get this family in. They're all adults, but like they're, I don't know, maybe like family, friends, I don't know. It's just like 4 adults shopping together. It's 2 women and 2 men. So the main person like talking to me during this whole like transaction was one of the guys. I'm gonna call him Dave. I'm just gonna give these people names so the story makes more sense. Actually, no, I don't even need to give them names because only like 2 of the people I talked to the entire time. I talked to the 1 woman and the 1 man the entire time, and then the other 2 were kind of just like there. We did 3 separate transactions. So he asked for like a bunch of price checks on things, so obviously that's like normal. I give him all the price checks he needs. I bag his first order. So I finished their first transaction. They're paying with cash. So keep in mind, these people are from Canada. I didn't think that mattered to the story, but now that I think about it, it actually does matter. So I finished the order. I bagged their stuff. I take their money. I open my register. I get their change and I grab, I don't know, it was like 7 pennies or something. So I take the pennies. Obviously, I'm not looking and inspecting every single coin. No one does that. Absolutely no one does that. No one inspects every coin that they hand to people. So I get the change, I give it to the lady, I start the second transaction, and as I'm ringing up the second transaction, the lady comes back over and she starts yelling in my face. Like this went from 0 to 100 really, really quick. I didn't even know what was wrong. She was like, you gave me back a Canadian penny instead of an American penny. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know we had those. I'm sorry. And then she was like, no, you need to be more careful about what you're giving people. And I was like, what? And then she's screaming in my face. Oh, you need to check more carefully before you give out change because you keep giving people Canadian pennies. We don't even use pennies in Canada anymore. We can't even use this. And I was just like, so you're screaming in my face because I gave you the wrong penny. Do you hear yourself? And I'm just sitting there like, oh, I'm sorry. That my mistake. Huh? Why are you gonna scream in my face over a penny. I'm trying to stay professional. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that. I'm not checking every coin that I hand out, obviously, but like I'm saying it in super nice terms, because even though you're screaming in my face, I have to maintain this job that I have at this store, and I have to treat people with kindness, unlike you. And she continues screaming in my face. She's like, no, you need to check better. You need to pay attention to what you're doing. You need to check the coins before you give them to people. I was like, okay, all right, thank you. I literally said it like that. I was like, all right, thank you. And then I just finished bagging their stuff for the next transaction. Usually my attitude is pretty like maintained at work. Like I have my attitude under control when I'm at work for the most part. This is one of those occasions where I could not keep my attitude under control because first of all, let's just put the situation into perspective. You're screaming at me. Screaming in my face in front of everyone, in front of my managers, in front of my coworkers, in front of customers. Like you're screaming in my face in front of everyone over a penny. Over a penny! So after like this second transaction, I was like, okay, I never give people attitude at my work. This is the second time I've ever given it back. We complete the second transaction. They give me the money. Change is like 3 pennies. So I get the pennies out of my little drawer. I decide to be a petty ass bitch, okay? Cause you wanna yell at me about checking the pennies, check your penny. So I pick up penny number 1. I go like this, like in front of her. I pick up penny number 2. I go like this again. Then I pick up the final penny. I look at her and then I check the penny and then I go, here you go. She looks at me like I'm the biggest bitch in the world. Like I am just an for doing what she asked me to do. And then she goes and like stands over to the side and like storms off like a little toddler because she's so angry. Like I gave the attitude back, but she didn't say that she was mad. You could just tell by her body language that she was like, I didn't know this at the time, but like later on one of my coworkers came over and was like, yeah, I did this, so shit didn't escalate. One of my amazing coworkers, shout out to her, she saw the whole thing unfolding. She was like, okay, that's probably gonna get a lot worse. So she called my manager over to help me in case I needed it. Literally, thank God for her because it would have gotten so much worse. So at this point, I still have no idea that my manager was called. So I continue bagging their stuff and I look behind me and my manager's there. So I'm like, oh, hi. Like you scared the shit out of me. I had no idea you were standing right there. I continue bagging their stuff and then at like their last order, then the other guy starts talking to me and he's like, oh, the shoes were supposed to be 20% off. I look and I'm like, yep, they're 20% off. So the 20% came off automatically. I don't know. That's just the way it worked in the system. Like that one just came off automatically because I don't know, something with like how they were marked in our system was like another $7 was already taken off. So this man asks me, I tell him that, and then he repeats the question. He was like, no, I thought they were 20% off. And I said, yeah, they are 20% off. Like did I not just explain the whole thing to you? So my manager steps in and she's like, sir, they are 20% off. She just explains the whole thing that I just explained. She has to do it like 2 more times. And I like jump in to help her. I'm like, sir, we just told you like 4 times each are 20% off. The 20% already came off. I promise you. So I step aside, my manager's talking to them, and then like I'm finishing bagging their stuff, finishing the transaction. Then like something happened with like their card and how they were paying, so we had to figure all that out, and it was just so much more work. And then throughout this whole like end of this process, the lady that was screaming at me about the pennies was over like on this side now giving me like dirty looks. So we finished cashing these people out. It's the most complicated thing in the world. And then they leave and my manager looks at me and she's like, are you okay? Like, I was like, yeah, I'm good. Why? And she's like, because if I were you, I would be shaking right now. Like, I don't know how you're like this content, basically. I'm just like, oh, because like I had to step away and take deep breaths as this was happening. She was like, you know what, why don't you go sit for a minute, take a minute, breathe, cause I don't know how you just dealt with that. Went to the back, I sat down for a few minutes, I like took a few deep breaths. I explained to my one coworker that was back there like the situation, and we were just talking about how like awful people treat us on a daily basis.
We love working in customer service.
I don't even work at like the main customer service part either. I just like cash people out. Like I don't even work in like the customer service department, but I still get like customers that want to like take my head off with a baseball bat. Like, so this is gonna be our last little story of the day. This one could easily be a video on its own, but I just like gonna tag it on to this one because I just feel like you guys would probably like to hear it now. I'm just gonna give it to you now. video. So keep in mind the store I work at closes at 9 p.m. For some reason, it's really hard for people to like comprehend the fact that like we close. So we always have like a super long line at like 9. So this was like a few weeks ago. I'm cashing people out and I get this lady. And it's just like the clock just hit like 9:05 and I'm so tired. I didn't even have to take this woman, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be nice. I'll take her. I just want to go home. I'll cash this lady out first. She has like this big cart full of clothes. So this lady comes up with her coupons, right? This is a common problem at this store. People just get so greedy when it comes to coupons. She has a 20% off, which yes, we had that going on. You can use that, but you can only use one. Store's policy is like 1% coupon and then the $1 off coupons like you can stack. So she had like a $1 off coupon. I think it was like $5 off. And then she had two 20% coupons, but it was like the same coupon. So you can only use 1% coupon. Everyone knows that. If they don't know that, we nicely explain that to them. So she shows me all of her coupons and I'm like, oh great. So I can only use the 20%, but I can take off your $1 off coupons. So I scan the $1 off, scan the 20%. She's like, oh great, thank you. Well, just scan this and see what happens. And I was like, actually I can't do that. She was like, why not? And I was like, because that's just our store's policy. You can't stack percentage coupons. Like, even if it scans, I still can't give it to you. Like, I still can't stack the coupons for you. That's just not how it works. And she was like, nowhere on here does it say that I can't stack these coupons. It's 9 p.m. I'm exhausted. So I'm just like, ma'am, I'm sorry. That's just been our policy, like, since, like, forever. So I can't stack your coupons. Like, that's just not how it works. Like, this is a known thing. Our policy is that we don't stack those coupons. Everyone who's ever come to this store, and it seems like she comes to this store a lot for how much she knew about our damn coupon. I'm just like, ma'am, I'm sorry, I can't stack those. Like, I will get in trouble. And she's like, well, can you just scan it? And I'm like, ma'am, no, like I will get fired. Like, I can't stack your coupon. I can't just make this one exception for you. Like, that's not how it works. If you were allowed to stack coupons, you'd end up getting the whole thing for free. Like, that's why we don't do that. Why is it so hard for some people to comprehend? So keep in mind, I'm exhausted. I barely got any sleep the night before. It's 9 p.m. Well, no, it's 9:05 p.m. actually. We're closed. You're like the last person in the store. This is one of the worst days of my entire life. And you're over here whining about coupons. I'm just telling her, ma'am, I'm sorry, cannot stack those coupons. I will get fired. There's nothing I can do. And she's like, why not? And I'm just like, like I literally did that. So great. I really want to deal with this right now at 9 p.m. when I need to go home. And I just roll my eyes at her. And then she's like, oh, now you're rolling your eyes at me. Oh. And I'm just like, no, I'm not rolling my eyes at you. What are you talking about? Yes, I did roll my eyes at her and I'll do it again. So I've learned that people like to take quick glances at my name tag and, you know, report me for petty little bullshit. So I'm just stretching my arms, and on my way of stretching my arms, somehow I grab my name tag and, you know, hide it in my shirt because you're not about to report me. I'm like, ma'am, if you have a problem with like the fact that I can't stack these coupons for you, my manager is right there, because my manager was across from me. My manager is right there. You can take it up with her. So she's whining. She's like, fine. So I tell her the total. She's like, no. I'm gonna wait for your manager and I'm gonna speak to her. And I'm like, have fun. So she waits like 2 minutes to talk to my manager. My manager finishes what she was doing. And then she's like, excuse me. And my manager's like, yeah. And then she's like, she's saying that I can't stack my 20% off coupons. And then my manager's like, yeah, because you can't do that. And then she's like, nowhere on this website does it say that I cannot stack my coupons. And she's like, ma'am, it's store policy. You just can't stack the coupons. Camera's about to die and my tripod is just breaking itself. I'm gonna be holding the camera like this for the rest of the video. She's just flipping her and being like, oh, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is a joke. This is the worst experience I've ever had at this store. And I'm just like, okay, I'm sorry about that. It's time for you to leave now. Except I didn't say that. I was super nice about it. So I cash her out. I hand her her bags. I'm like, have a great night. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. So yeah, that's some of my work stories that I've had recently. I'm probably gonna have a lot more of these because I plan on keeping my job. So if you like these stories and you want me to film more episodes of this little work stories series that I have going on, make sure you leave this video a like and subscribe. Make sure you go follow me on everything else if you don't already. It's all at avamerceis except for my Snapchat, which is at ava.merceis. And on that note, I think I'm gonna go because this is probably gonna be a really long video. Thank you guys so much for your support and thank you so much for watching. And I love all of you so much. I will see you in the next one. All right, I love you guys. Bye.